The way the segment works is Armando has come up with a title. I have never heard it before. He's going to supply the title, and then I'm going to try to come up with this show on the spot, and we'll see where we go with this.
So hey, Aaron, have you seen that new the new series called The Ultimate Fighter Season 74, Cage Fighting in Space?
Yes, I did. And so here's the thing. I hadn't watched The Ultimate Fighter for a long time. It kind of got stale. It was sort of the same old thing. Oh, like a bunch of alphas in a house. Oh, they're butting heads. They fight. It got boring. But the beauty of this sort of reboot of the show, Ultimate Fighters, was it, sorry, 74, 75?
Whatever, 70 something.
Ultimate Fighter 74 in space is, I've always wanted to have an Ultimate Fighter with like my favorite fighters of all time. Except the problem is, like, all these guys are at this point, I mean, from 74, they're all really old. They're all in their 70s and they just couldn't fight on land anymore. It was too hard, right? So because they're old, they're kind of arthritic. It's like, oh, I'm going to do a spinning back kick. Oh, my knee went out. Like, I can't do it. So the way they figured a workaround for this is, it's like, if we get them in 0G, where there's just no gravity at all, then they're going to be able to really perform to their best as fighting 70-year-olds. So it's like all your favorite fighter. I mean, like Chael Sonnen is up there, Anderson Silva.
We finally get to watch Fedor Emelianenko fight Randy Couture.
Well, and that's the great part. There are no weight classes because they're all weightless. Right? So yeah, Fedor's up there. Dominic Cruz is up there. And it's great because he's trying to do his Dominic Cruz footwork. Like, Dominic Cruz's whole thing is that he's really fast footwork and he like bounces around. Except the problem is he's in 0G, so he's just waving his feet around really fast. It looks kind of comical, but in zero gravity, it actually has the effect of hypnotizing his opponents. So he's one of the first. I don't want to. God, I always give spoilers in these. It's hard not to. So in the first episode, there is an argument. It starts with an argument about who's going to get to use the bathroom first, because it is an international space station, but they only have access to one bathroom. So it's 12 fighters all having to use one very, very tiny bathroom that's, basically the size of like one of those porta potties that you see outside of a construction zone. And it starts with Wanderlei Silva is just, I don't know how he smuggled how he smuggled a bunch of like Brazilian acai up into the space station, but he like brought a ton and he was just eating it. And now he's a little bit backed up because it didn't mix with the astronaut food. It like somehow like congealed in his stomach, and he's on the toilet, and they can't get Wanderlei out of the toilet in the International Space Station. Dominic Cruz is pissed because Dominic Cruz is this little like terrier that he brings everywhere with him named Dojo, and yeah, and he can't obviously he can't let Dojo out for a walk because Dojo would just drift away into the void of space. So he has to actually try to get Dojo to pee and poo in this tiny toilet in the space station. And like Dojo is doing the thing where he's like brushing Dominic with his foot, saying like, oh, I gotta go. You can see him; he's kind of twitching, and it's like great. Like Dojo's gonna pee in the International Space Station. Like the pee is gonna float up into zero gravity. It's gonna disperse in a million different particles, and there's gonna be Dojo pee floating around for the rest of the Ultimate Fighter 74 Space Station Edition. And like, so Dominic Cruz is just not happy about this at all, and he's banging on the frickin' door, and Wanderlei won't come out. And finally, Chael Sonnen, like, this is the only way they can get him out, is Chael Sonnen comes up to the door and just starts roasting Wanderlei Silva. He's calling him all kinds of names. He calls him a Brazilian butt plug. That was the one that really got. He's like, how Wanderlei Silva, you're never much of a fighter, but you were a Brazilian butt plug from day one. He liked the alliteration. It's Chael. He's good on the start, and that eventually just really gets to Wanderlei. So like he runs out of the well, he doesn't run. He kind of floats out of the toilet, trying to chase after Chael. Like he like propels himself. If you've ever seen Gravity or any of those movies, it's like he's still trying to get his pants up, but he gets himself against the back wall of the bathroom and then like pushes off as hard as he can. So he's sort of flying out after Chael. And then Dominic is able to get Dojo in, and Dojo can pee in the toilet. But this has really sparked some serious beef between Dominic and Wanderlei Silva. So when it's time to actually select the fight, because this is the format of the show. It's like, it's a lot of like the sort of reality TV drama, but then at the end there's an actual fight, and Dominic convinces the team coach, who is Bas Rutten. And by the way, Bas Rutten is like a really old school MMA personality. Do you know Bas Rutten? What is he? Is he Dutch?
Boing, 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 boing. Yeah, the bald guy. I love Bas Rutten.
Yeah, but he's had like a bunch of health problems because he started fighting like 400 years ago.
Yeah.
So at this point, Bas Rutten is basically just mechanical. Like what was the name of like the main bad guy in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
The Shredder.
Do you remember him? No, the one above him, and in the cartoon, not the movie. Was it like
the
Kang
alien
or
guy? Kang, yeah, Kang. The alien brain guy that had like a mechanical body. Yeah, that was Kang.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of like that. It's like this big mechanical body, but like right in his stomach is Bas Rutten's head, and he just speaks in his Dutch. He's like, "Yes, we're the captain of the fighting. You must go and call out your opponent, and you will fight him to the death in space." That's basically exactly what Bas Rutten sounds like. And Dominic Cruz convinces Bas Rutten to let him call out Wanderlei Silva, which he does, and that's the fight on episode 1. And it seems like a mismatch, like because like Wanderlei is a lot bigger, but Dominic Cruz is a lot craftier, and he starts doing the Dominic Cruz footwork, but like in 0G, he's just like spinning in all these weird patterns, and it kind of hypnotizes Wanderlei a little bit. Like, have you ever seen like those videos in India where you have like a snake charmer that just sort of like hypnotizes the snake?
Uh-huh.
Wanderlei gets hypnotized by Dominic's 0G footwork. Dominic's able to sneak up behind him, and he gets a chokehold. Dominic usually wins all of his victories by decision. This was one of the few submissions because Wanderlei's head is so hard, and at this point he does have some mechanical metal plates in his head just to try to keep his face from like turning into mush. Dominic was very smart that if he punched him too much, he probably would break his hand. So he hypnotizes him, floats behind him, and chokes him out. And Dominic moves on through round 1. I'm really excited to see who fights in round 2. I'm really hoping for Wanderlei's teammates to try to get revenge on Cruz's team. And what I think is going to happen, I think we're going to get a Chael Sonnen call out. And the fight that I wanted to see probably most in the entire show is going to be Chael Sonnen versus a completely rebuilt Cain Velasquez. And yeah, so at this point, they've just made him into Terminator Cain. He's got full new mechanical parts. Like he's like, whereas like Bas Rutten is sort of like a cyborg with his head. Like it is not actually like biologically Cain Velasquez anymore. It's just a Terminator version of Cain Velasquez,
like Colossus from the X-Men. Like he's all metal.
Yeah, completely. He doesn't even need to wear the steel tie cup. That was one of the things. Like you the one clip. You know how they show the clips from the next week at the end of the show to like keep you interested. They show the clip, and it's just Chael Sonnen like front kicking the Mecco Cain as hard as he can right in the junk, and Joe Rogan is like, wow, if he was wearing a steel tie cup, he could have absorbed that, and like, but Cain's just completely unfazed, and he just sort of does the Dikembe Mutombo finger wag at Chael because he does it. I mean, I'm assuming he's got like a robot junk, but it's all metal, and he's just completely unfazed, and we really have a Terminator scenario where it's going to be Chael Sonnen's like wits and guile against the sort of Terminator come forward pressure of Mecco Cain. And I'm hoping Chael finds a way to beat him without blowing up the International Space Station, but I don't know. All I can say is I'm going to be on the edge of my seat, and if you guys have not checked out The Ultimate Fighter for a while, this is the season to tune back in.
Pat Miletich has the job again. Did you hear about that?
Hey degenerates, it's Aaron here. You can follow us at all the social media thingies, links below. And please, for the love of Charlie Sheen's Ghost, subscribe to us on YouTube and wherever podcasts are podcasted.